RadioDoctor on Women Radio, which is Nigeria's first specialized health program where medical doctors consult for free and advise you on Women Radio. This program airs 10 a.m. Mondays through Fridays, and today's program is sponsored and powered by Teledoc. Okay, today we're going to be talking about something that affects not only health outcomes, but also how people make life-changing decisions, cancer myths. Because despite advances in medicine, a lot of people still receive information about cancer from social media posts, community rumors, forwarded messages, and well-meaning friends and relatives. And it is important to say that most of that information is inaccurate. I don't have to be a doctor to know. Some people think that, interestingly, I heard somebody on the podcast say yesterday that that the reason why a lot of women have cancer is because they've been bottling up stuff against their husband, maybe unforgiveness, bitterness, maybe as a result of cheating and all the like. Some people also think that cancer is a death sentence, but we've seen people that are two-time cancer survivors. They think that cancer is caused by spiritual attacks. They think that herbal medicine, herbal drugs, your agbo and the like can only cure cancer. They also, some people also say that cancer only affects older people, but we've also seen babies have cancer, and these beliefs are very, very dangerous because they can delay diagnosis, they can discourage treatment, and in most cases they cost lives. So this morning, we have Dr. Ruth Atelibo, who is going to help us unpack some of the most common cancer myths. And we're going to also discuss the role of effective public health messaging in improving cancer awareness and outcomes. Like, how do doctors, how does the media, how do public health professionals, community leaders, how can we all basically come together, work together to ensure that people receive accurate information when it comes to cancer? But before I go ahead, we are live on YouTube at WFM 917, and you can listen to us on the go via our website, www.wfm917.com. Our phone lines will be open shortly, but you can send a text message if you have a question to ask, whatever it is, to 0703 1756537 or 08155-917-917, your text messages, WhatsApp messages, or your voice notes, which we have introduced. But okay, now that is out of the way, good morning, Dr. Ruth. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm having a little bit of issues with my camera. Good morning. It isn't coming up. Good morning.
Okay.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Is it raining over where you are?
Raining heavily.
Ours has stopped here, but me, I wanted the rain anyway because the weather was getting too hot for me.
Oh, that's fair.
Well, I don't mind the rain because it's just like the weather gets better. So I get that rains can be very, very, they can be hampering. They don't allow you to do what you want to do. But for me,
a lot of activities. If you want to
do we prefer it to be absolutely sunny and scorching and we cannot find any coolness, or do we want the rain that will bring?
It depends on what you want to do. If you want to go out, you prefer the sun. If you're indoors, you prefer the rain. So it depends.
Me, there's sun, I don't even want to go out because the sun, no, I'm sorry, no. But okay, let's get into it. Okay, Dr. Ruth, why do cancer myths remain so widespread despite access to information?
I think basically with the kind of society we are in Nigeria currently, we believe on quote unquote them say traditional history. Even though there are a lot of information, we're currently in an age where there's a lot of information, there's a lot of messages, there's a lot of AI, where if you want to know something, you can quickly type on the internet. But because Nigeria currently, we are more of a cultural, traditional system. So most people will say, oh, my mother once told me, my father once told me, they said, I heard some people saying. So that is why our myths are still going to go on and on and on and on. So if we want to debunk a lot of cancer myths, we have to start from ourselves, start from the pastors, because Nigeria is a very religious society. So what you believe the pastor will say, will be what you're going to listen to. Your imams, what you listen to in the mosque, will be what you're going to take. What you listen to an elder person say will be what you're going to take. So our cancer myth is based on our own cultural traditional system, not just based on information and AI.
Right. Okay. So, what are some of the cancer myths that you have encountered in your own private practice or wherever, as a doctor? Really, what are some of the cancer myths that you have encountered?
The number one cancer myth I have encountered, it's saying cancer is a spiritual attack.
Huh.
We're in a very, very spiritual society, a very traditional society, like I said earlier. So I had, let's call her Mrs. A. She was a 28-year-old female, where she came and said that, she saw a lump, and we decided to run some tests and everything, did some tests, biopsy and all that. And we came down to the diagnosis that, she had cancer. She said, God forbid, it's not that I serve a living God. I serve a living God. It is not my portion. So they believe that it's a spiritual thing. It's coming from their father's side. It's coming from their mother's side. That is number one myth. And that is very wrong, because most cancers, especially with breast cancer, if you pick it up very early, the survival rate is at least above 90%. So what I think is, based on, like I said earlier, based on our churches, based on our mosque, based on our traditional people, if we can have more information out there, that's one, that's the spiritual attack. Two, cancer is contagious. I had a family, I won't say a family member. I had someone I was close to. She had cancer when I was younger. So because she had breast cancer, her husband could not sleep on the same bed with her. Her children no longer hugged her. They believed that cancer was going to be contagious. It was going to be transmittable from person to person. And what even killed her was not just, what broke her more was not just the cancer. It was the loneliness that broke her. So you cannot catch cancer by hugging people, by sharing plates, by shaking hands, or even sitting next to someone. Cancer is not an infection, it's a disease. And it cannot jump from person to person. Your loved ones, they need your presence, not just your distance when they have cancer. Another myth, great myth, I saw it on a podcast. Yes, it was a podcast I heard, that you need to have lack of sex causes cancer. I think that one has been going round and round. Yes, a lot of people tell you that lack of
I feel like it's men that say this because they want to have sex.
I saw it recently where a man was saying that lack of sex causes breast cancer. Lack of sex
has to be a man that says it.
The thing is that there are experiments that have been done, research that have been done, that is saying that frequent ejaculation reduces the risk a bit for having cancer. It doesn't say lack of sex causes. Sex has no link to causing cancer, because cancer is multifactorial. It's not just a sole thing. Genetics play a role, environmental factors play a role, your lifestyle plays a role. So imagine you're having sex. Meanwhile, you're smoking. Meanwhile, you're drinking alcohol. Meanwhile, you're eating, your diet is very unhealthy. You're predisposing yourself still to cancer. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So there's a lot of dietary, lifestyle modifications we need to do, not just a particular thing we need to do.
Okay. So now, just back to the from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of misinformation, obviously. So how does this affect? Because the person, like you said, it was more of loneliness, because sometimes people think that cancer is contagious. Excuse me. So how does misinformation affect when patients seek treatment and how they seek treatment?
Okay. So misinformation alone doesn't just mislead, it kills. Okay. Because if you're presenting late, it's just like you have a misinformation that, herbal remedy, agbo, what we normally, you hear them in the market, this particular thing, they cure cancer, it cures it's one particular drug or one particular drink will cure cancer, diabetes, high blood, tens and thousands of things, only one drug. So with that kind of misinformation, it's going to kill you, because you're going to be taking herbal remedies. And you'll be drinking it faithfully for 4 months. The bleeding continues, the tumor begins to increase. And when you now finally see a doctor, what was once maybe a small polyp, a small mass, has now advanced to a bigger cancer, a bowel cancer, and will now require major surgery. So you presenting late too also kills.
Right.
Because the
And when you
misinformation,
say presenting late, what do you mean?
the presenting late is that for
No.
you. Sorry?
For those that don't understand what you mean by presenting late.
Okay, for example, let's say Mr. A experiences bleeding by January. He goes to tell his friend and tells him that, oh, his friend doesn't advise him to go to the hospital. Tells him that, oh, I bought this drink. Oh, you can buy this drink. You're going to take it for 4 months. The bleeding will clear. So by the time you take that thing judiciously for 4 months, the next time you're presenting back 4 or 5 months after, the mass has increased. So you're presenting late to the hospital. That means the thing has gone so bad. And most Nigerians, we practice more of curative medicine than preventive medicine. The hospital is usually the last place most people will come to. They'll rather go to the chemist, they'll go to the church, they'll go to the herbalist before once it has gotten bad, they come to the hospital.
Okay. All right. And then what about fear? Do you find that fear also plays because to be honest, I think that the reason why a lot of people don't present on time is because fear that, oh my gosh, fear that I can't believe that I have this. Oh, does this mean I'm going to die? So do you find that fear plays a significant role in the spread of cancer myths?
Yes, a lot. A lot of people think cancer is an automatic death sentence. Once they hear the word cancer, they go straight home without checking the results, saying, oh, I'm going to die. They don't want to do anything about it. And most people believe that once they come to the hospital, their symptoms get worse. People in the hospital are usually way more critical than them. So because of that fear, they end up presenting late. They end up doing nothing. Like I said earlier, breast cancer that is caught early have over 90% of women survive more than 5 years. Even cervical cancer, if we detect it as stage 1, there is about 93% survival rate. So the fear making them not to do anything increases their chances of progressing to an end stage cancer.
Okay. Let's keep it moving. You're still tuned to Women Radio 91.7, and this is Radio Doctor. We've been speaking with Dr. Ruth Atelebo on cancer, like we're breaking down cancer myths, collaborative strategies for public health messaging. Okay. Now, is cancer always a death? I know you said no, but is it always a death sentence? Or does it depend on when they present?
Cancer is not an automatic death sentence.
Okay.
Because there is like survival rates when it's caught early. But because of the presentation, most people present late. Because with Nigerians, until when there's no pain, there's no problem. You won't come to the hospital to say, oh, it's just very few people that say, oh, let me do a routine test, and they pick that up. But once there's no pain, there's no problem. So with the presentation that is being late, that is when maybe you pick it up at stage 4. That's when we start doing palliative care, supportive care, and you realize that either way, the person is always going to die. But if it's picked up early, it is not a death sentence. I've seen a lot of people come out to see how much they've survived cancer. And I think that is what we need to be airing out, because a lot of cancer survivors, we don't know about them. It's mostly people that died of cancer that we know of. There are a lot of cancer survivors, and we need to give them that audience.
Okay, so surgeries and biopsies. Actually, when I'm trying to remember the person that said this to me, I had said to them when their wife was pregnant that she needed to be doing tests, only for them to come back to me to say, oh, for them to be going for scans. And I said this from my own colored lens, because when I was pregnant with my son, I had to be going to the hospital every week based off of the situation that I had, and they had to do scans for me every week. And the person, I can't remember the person that said it to me, had said, oh no, we cannot be doing scans because the radiation, the rays that they cause cancer. So my question is, prior surgeries that you have, can they cause cancer to spread? Ultrasounds, can they cause cancer to spread? Biopsies, can they cause cancer to spread?
Okay. There's a lot of myths that people say, oh, once you touch a tissue, once you open up a tumor, the tumor is likely to spread once it has received oxygen. Something I heard, once it has received oxygen, that means it can spread. But surgery does not generally spread cancer. In fact, surgery is one of the main ways we treat and cure many cancers, by physically removing the tumor. So I think why people think surgery spreads cancer is because the idea comes from few situations that are misunderstood. For example, now microscopic spread already exists before the surgery. That means what I'm talking about is that things they've not already picked up. Like a very, very minute, tiny cell that has not been picked up has already been spread before the surgery. So when you now do the surgery and you now see that, oh, the person has developed cancer a few months later, they will likely blame the surgery. And also, it's uncommon, but we have extremely uncommon cases where cancer cells can be accidentally dislodged during surgery. But surgeons currently are more careful. We have techniques that are very, very careful to not spread cancer. Even when we call it things, like even when you're doing a biopsy, you try to take the tissue with so much care. Surgeries don't spread cancer. What's actually true is that surgery is a cornerstone for cancer cure.
What do you mean?
Like once you take your chemotherapy, reduces the tumor, then they remove the cancer cells. For example, colon cancer, cervical cancers, skin cancers. Surgery is the cornerstone of care for cancer. Because even if you don't want to do the surgery, delaying surgery when it's normally needed does more harm than good if you're thinking it's going to spread the cancer. I don't know if I'm clear.
Yeah, I understand you. Yes. Okay. Typically when you go to the hospital, they ask you for your history, and most times when there's a cancer situation, they're always asking, oh, do you have family history? But the question now is, can someone get cancer without a family history, or is the person, get cancer without family history, or is the person with a family history of cancer more at risk?
Yes, a person with a family history of cancer is more at risk because they have inherited genes. Like in breast cancer, the inherited mutations in BRCA1 and 2 genes can expose one to cancer. But that being said, like I stated earlier, cancer is multifactorial. Doesn't mean that a first degree relative had cancer means you're going to have cancer. It's just that it puts you at risk for having cancer. So there are other protective measures you can take, reducing, exercising regularly, doing routine tests, weight loss. There are other routine things you can do because cancer is not just one single thing that can cause it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Then someone that doesn't have a family history can get cancer because we have example. Let me use asbestos. People that expose environmental exposure, people that work in diesel factories, where they work, they are asbestos and all that. They are more at risk to even develop cancer because of the exposure, their environmental exposure. For example, even people that are around people that they don't smoke, but this what they call passive smoking, secondhand smoking. So they are more at risk of developing lung cancer too. Not just because they don't have any history means they won't develop cancer. That's not true.
Okay. Now, when you say someone is the person who has a family history is more at risk, do you mean at whatever age? Because sometimes you hear that maybe, oh, someone's grandma had cancer at maybe age 70 or age 80. Are the descendants, shut up, the grandchildren, are they still at risk if the person is getting that cancer at the later part of their life?
No, aging is one of the risk factors of having cancer.
Okay.
So once you're getting older, your DNA, the damage that is likely to occur and repair is reduced. Okay. But if, let's say, a mom had cancer at a very, very young age,
right,
chances the risk of the child having cancer is higher because there's a higher risk of getting that cancer, not like with age. So we used to say, oh, once maybe your mom had breast cancer, maybe when she was 30, when she was 28, there's a higher risk of you getting cancer, not that you're going to get cancer. The risk comes with higher the age being diagnosed, sorry.
Right, I get you now. Okay. So obviously cancer is not just a disease of older adults. It's just that older adults are at more risk because of the what you said, the DNA, something has reduced.
I'm not saying older adults are more at risk. I'm saying based on you ask the question based on
Yeah,
young
yeah,
older people. If an
yeah,
older person is to develop cancer currently, this is because of as they are getting older, DNA repair slows down. There is more going to be DNA mutations, and cancers come from mutations in genes.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
So if there's anything that is once there's a wear and tear of a particular thing, it means that it's going to get weak, right? So
Yeah.
once the repair system is going down the drain, the likeliness of an older person developing cancer is higher.
Okay, okay, I get you now. I'm just asking because so one of the myths was that I mentioned at the beginning was that cancer is only for
Old
people
people.
for old people. For old
Yeah.
people, yes. That's why I was asking that the follow-up question. Okay, now this was